Well, hello, neighbor. It's me, Angie. Come on over. It's time for our neighborhood chat. Well, I decided I would sit in front of the swing today. I'm missing my Berkeley. I am so thrilled every time I open the door to see a child's equipment in our yard, a swing set, a tricycle, a ball, anything, because it just brings life to our home. But I miss seeing her. She brings so much joy to our family and to our lives. And then there's Lincoln, and he's not quite old enough to swing like that, but we're going to get him a swing to hang and like he has at his house, and he can swing. He loves it. Puts him right to sleep every time. But anyway, I wanted to come to you with our neighborhood chat. First of all, you know me. I have to say it. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I had one of my, I don't even know if this person subscribes to my channel or not, which that's neither here nor there, but I had someone say that they thought I was a little silly the way I invited people in on my videos and said I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. That they liked me, but they thought that was kind of silly. But I was fine with it. I just kind of chuckled about it and laughed and went on, and I didn't stop doing it because that's just who I am. So if they want to watch, they'll watch. And if they don't, they won't. There's nothing I can do about it. But anyway, a lot's been going on in our neighborhood, our YouTube neighborhood. People being sick, fighting illnesses, fighting sickness, people losing loved ones, people hurting, just literally hurting, whether it be from your heart hurting because you lost someone, or the pain of your body that you just wish would go away, or maybe you've had so many surgeries, you're like, I am so tired of surgery. Just like me, I'm so tired of being sick. I'm just tired of it. Then you have some of these channels that come on every day, and it's like they're so proud that they have cancer, and they're so proud that they have a heart disease, and they get to go get a CT, and it's like they're just so happy about it. I can't get there. I can't do that. But anyway, to each their own. But I would like to say, because of everything that's been going on in our neighborhood, and of course, there's been drama. Oh my goodness. If you missed mine and Ella's Keeping It Real show Sunday night, go back and watch that. Save here first. Go back and watch that 2 hour, and actually we probably could have went longer than 2 hours, but I think she and I both like to keep it within not going over 2 hours. But it was a pretty intense conversation. But I have to say that the chat really, really brought some good questions. And they were so respectful and considerate in the comments. It wasn't, she said this and they said this and I'm mad because of this. And, it wasn't like that. It was just us carrying on a conversation about all the drama that's been going on in the community. It'll die down and nothing will be said. No drama will be going on. And then all of a sudden it just raises its ugly head. I've had several people ask me, Angie, how can you stay neutral? How is that even possible? Well, I know that y'all know I got burned one time doing not staying neutral. And I chose a side, and then the two people got back together, and then I had talked about one of the other sides really, really bad, and I was left out in the cold. And it was a dear friend of mine that left me out in the cold, and that hurt me so bad because I felt like, oh, I have to defend them. I have to defend them. And in reality, I did not. I did not have to defend them whatsoever. All I have to do is be there for them. If they want to talk to me privately, if they want to cry on my shoulder, If they want to bash the other person, I'll listen. But don't expect me to bash the other person, because I'm not. And you say, well, how can you be that way, Angie, if the other person hurts your real good friend? Well, the way I can do that is I know that real good friend. And I know whatever they're saying about her, I knew it wasn't true. That was the first thing. Though it bothered her, I was not affected by it, because I would tell her, well, you know that's not true. And you know the people that really love and care about you are not going to believe it. And if they believe it, then they never really wanted to be your friend to begin with. I know that people are into choosing sides. I know they are. I know they can't get beyond that. And I'm fine with it. If people have to choose a side, which I don't know what that side is. I don't know why they think they're sides. I don't get that. Well, I can't say I don't get it, because I really do get it, because I was that way at one time. But right now, I don't get it. Because once your eyes is open to something, you can't ever go back to the way you used to be. I mean, when you see something, you can't unsee it. Just like when somebody does something wrong and you put them up on a pedestal and they do something wrong and you can't unsee that. Number one, you should never put anybody on a pedestal. I mean, not even your pastor, because he's just as human as you are. And we've talked about this before. He makes mistakes just like you do. Don't ever put him way up here like he's superior, because he's not. You can talk to God just like he does. And I think that's what makes me so stable, is I do pray and meditate and seek God when there is, I mean, all the time, but more so when there's controversy. Because I want to be able to be even a brighter light for people to go to understand that we can all love each other and respect each other. Now, we don't have to be around each other anymore. I mean, there's some people you have to love from a distance. I totally get that. I get that. There are people in my life here where I live that I have to love from a distance. They can't be a part of my life, for number one, they bring drama. Number two, they're controlling. Number three, they're manipulative and self-centered. You know, and I can't have that around me. I don't want to live under that kind of stress. You know, it's not worth it. And then you'll hear people say, well, that's just the way they are. Okay. That's just the way they are. Well, let them stay over there. You know. But I was thinking earlier today as I was meditating on what our neighborhood chat was going to be about. And I thought, you know, I always say love is a choice. And I know some people are like, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. And they roll their eyes and they don't get it. But if you're a Christian and you read 1 Corinthians 13, and love is patient, love is kind, and it goes through all these things. Yes, you can. You can love everybody if you do those things. But we choose not to, because we want that feeling. Oh, we want to love somebody because it brings a feeling. And God gave us feelings. Don't misunderstand. But love is an action word. You know, it's an action word. Even though it's a noun. Now, love can be a noun, because God is love. So love can be a noun, but love can also be a verb. It shows action, and that's what a verb does. But if you go back and read 1 Corinthians 13, you'll see the picture of love. God's love. But we want that feeling. And that's what we get from our flesh, is feelings. And if we don't get that feeling, then we think, okay, they're not part of the group. I don't care for them. I don't want them around me. They don't look like I want them to look. I have a higher standard than that. They may want something. They're needy. They're this, that. And you don't want to try to get to know them. And that's fine. But love is also respectful. You can love somebody and respect them, you know, and wait till you get to the point in your life where you can pray for your enemies. I never thought I would get there. I would hear all my life, pray for your enemies. Do good to those that do bad to you. And I'm thinking, I don't think that really means what that's talking about. I've got to go check that out, because that can't honestly mean pray for my enemies. Oh, I'll pray for them, all right, you know, but I actually have gotten to the point where I can actually do that, because I know I've not done anything wrong, and the burden lies on them, and they're acting like they're acting doesn't mean that I have to turn around and become who they are. I have to become who I am. I'm growing every day. I have to become me, not them. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I still have a long way to go. I will fly off in a minute if you do something to my child, or now especially my grandbaby, or not so much James, because I know James can take care of himself. But if somebody does something to me, James loses it, and especially with the children and the grandbabies. But I'm the one over there telling James, calm down, it's all right, stop, don't do that. And I believe that God gave us the feeling of love that we have here on earth. You know, we have agape love, which is God's love. But we have, I think it's called philo. I don't want to say that for sure, but it's a name for the kind of love that we feel between, like a falling in love and brotherly love, you know. That falling in love kind of love, I think God gave it to us so we can come together and have children and replenish the earth. And he wants us to have a mate. You know, he says, you know, he would like for us to have a mate. So I think he gives us that so we can be attracted to someone else. But that's not God kind of love. And we have to separate the two and realize when somebody does something to us. Now, on some scales, it would be hard pressed for me to go easy on some circumstances, especially things that are on the news and things that people do to children or older people in a nursing home, and you know, things like that anger me, and I have to just reel myself in and say, God, I'm so sorry that happened to that person. Please heal the hearts of the person that did this to them, because something's wrong with them, or they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have been so cruel. But it hadn't come close to home to me yet, so I really don't know how I would respond. I hope that I would respond the way Christ would want me to, but I can't promise you that I will, because I'm just as human as you are. But see, that's what my journey is. It's an everyday journey. It's an every hour and every day and every month, every year. It's growing through trials and tribulations and enjoying the good times and embracing my loved ones. I don't know if y'all realize this or not, but loving someone is so much easier than not. You know? And I said this before, but I used to think, well, I'm not giving out my love because they don't deserve it. I mean, my love, I'm kept inside, and it's just for special people. And if I don't feel anything toward them, I'm not loving them. And I look back at that now and think, oh, Angie, you were so sad, honey. That was so wrong of you. Because if God would have thought the same thing about us, you know, that he was just going to love certain ones of us here on earth and not the other ones, I mean, where would that leave half the population? If he took a 50-50 shot at each two people and just chose one. Okay, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. You know, unless someone has mental issues or strange habits of doing cruelty, they have a good side to them. You know, they have a loving side to them. They are someone's wife, someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's mom, someone's friend. You know, somebody loves them. So they have to have something inside them that, or nobody in this world would love them. So I'm telling you, when you pick and choose who you're going to love because of the way they look, act, sound, or some people choose to love people depending on what they have, you know? If they have a high, you know, they're up high in society, which I've been up to the high society, and I'm telling you, there's nothing up there but backstabbing, to double-crossing, non-Christians. So don't even think there's good up there at the top of that. You know, God, when he sent Christ hung around the sinners. He didn't hang around the religious people. Just remember that. Read the book. But anyway, so when we're thinking about how we want to love someone and how we can forgive someone, I mean, we've went over and over this. Forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. Doesn't mean you have to be around them. Doesn't mean you have to be friends with them. But don't let them rent space up here. Don't let them have any more say-so on how your emotions and your feelings are. Don't let them. Let it all go. And it'll take time, because it took me years to let things go. And now that I look back on it, I think, oh, why didn't I learn that lesson years ago? But we don't, because we're hard-headed. And I'm one of the hardest-headed people you'll ever want to meet. You can ask anybody that's ever been around me. I used to be the one that would cut my nose off to spite my face. And now, I'm not like that at all. I'm just open. I've always been an open book, but my sister wouldn't agree. She says I'm a very private person. But I'm more of an open book now than I've ever been in my life. I'm more free than I've ever been. I'm not angry and mad at anyone. And that's a freeing feeling. When you're not mad and angry at anyone that you come in contact with. And when you don't have an enemy. So I've always had people in my life that didn't understand me, didn't get me. And I didn't care if they did or not. You know, I was under this, if you don't like me, fine. I don't care. Which I really don't now, but more so, I want to be at peace with everybody. And I want to be an example of what it's like to love someone through whatever pain they're going through and whatever difficulty they're going through to change who they are. Because a lot of times people can change if they want to. The reason that people don't change is because they don't want to. You know, you have these gossipers that it was just inbred in them to gossip. I mean, I have a set of relatives, distant relatives, that all they do is they want to know the latest news about everybody. And they want to be the first to put it on Facebook. And they want to be the first one to talk about it. And that's what they revolve their whole entire life around, is gossiping about what they think the latest news is. But to your face, they're nothing but, it just melts off of them. They're so sweet. But that's where that red flag comes in on the inside that tells you it may look pretty on the outside, but it's not on the inside. You know, I always listen to that. I don't care how pretty it looks on the outside. If you get that feeling that something is not right, it's not going to lie to you. And then later on, you're going to figure out why you felt that way. Especially if you go into it freely, without any judgment, and you get that feeling. You know, like I've walked up to people before and they spoke to me and I walked up to speak to them and it was like, whew, I could just feel like, no, this person is not who they're portraying they are. And then months later, I'd find out why I felt that way. But I'm here to tell you, you are able to love people. You are. You just got to allow yourself. And loving someone does not mean that you're responsible for them. You know, a lot of times people don't want to love someone because they're going to say, well, if I love them, then I'm going to be responsible for them. No. No, you're not. Not unless you allow them to make you feel like you're responsible for them. No. You're not responsible for everybody you love. That's too much of a responsibility. You're only responsible for you. Now, you know that old saying that says, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, but teach him to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime? So that's what you need to do, is when you start feeling responsible for somebody else, just start teaching them. Teaching them how to take care of themselves, what they need to do. Don't automatically just do it for them. Don't start handing out money to them. Don't do that, because that's the thing that can break up a friendship quickly and break up families, when you start loaning money. Because for some reason they feel entitled that they're not supposed to pay you back or something. But anyway, read that chapter in 1 Corinthians about love and understand that our community has been through a lot the last couple of weeks. And if we could just show a little grace and mercy and kindness, and most importantly, love, then we've won the battle. But if we fight against it, and we decide, no, they did too much of a bad thing, and they hurt this person really, really bad, I'm not going to have anything to do with them, then maybe you should check yourself. You know, don't speak bad about the person that you don't really know them. And on YouTube, we really don't know each other. We really don't. We just have to go on what we see on a video or a live chat or whatever. But until then, neighbor, like, share, subscribe, comment, become my neighbor. And don't forget, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye, neighbor.